Up next, on today's Wild West, Montana's very first dude ranch returns to life after nearly a century. We'll ride the historic OTO, raft the Yellowstone River, and much more. Plus, meet the Mad Hatter of Montana, maker of fine custom cowboy hats.
There, that's better.
And cowboys, Indians, and romance. As Ramona, California's official outdoor play, turns 100. It's all next on today's Wild West. The Wild West. It's still out there. And we'll show you how to find it. This is today's Wild West. It's the Old West and the new. On the doorstep of America's first national park.
We're bringing guests back to Montana's first dude ranch for the first time in 83 years.
I think it's beautiful out here.
It's the OTO, Montana's very first dude ranch, back in business after being shut down for nearly a century.
We never slept a night in a place that was 100 years old. And then you're eating dinner in a lodge that
President Roosevelt was in.
Yeah.
The Old West was fading away as a new era began, dude ranching. The OTO was among the very first to welcome guests like Theodore Roosevelt, who came here from all over the country and around the world to experience the American West.
As a family traveling, we're always looking for something authentic, have an experience that we're all going to talk about and remember, and this hit that in every respect.
They called him Pretty Dick. He got a lot of attention, and because he had a big personality, apparently was Mr. Cowboy.
Cowboy, hunting guide, and Yellowstone stagecoach driver Dick Randall and his wife Dora built the place themselves and welcomed their first paying guests in 1912.
None of this stuff is from Home Depot or Lowe's, right? Everything is locally harvested stone and wood that is in this lodge. So I think that's such an impressive thing. And
however, the glory days, a fascinating tale retold in this wonderful book, lasted just over 20 years. Long story short, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation wound up with the ranch, which was then acquired by the U.S. Forest Service in the 1990s to manage and preserve. And 83 years after the last guest checked out in the 1930s, dudes are once again checking in and saddling up at the OTO.
And folks are amazed. When I go up there, I get goosebumps every time still, because it's just a very, very special place.
It's all thanks to the True Ranch Collection and the Custer-Gallatin National Forest, who partnered to bring this special place back to life as the Yellowstone pop-up dude ranch at the OTO for 7 weeks in the summer.
If we could have a role in restoring one of the most important ranches to dude ranch history, how could we turn our back on it?
they cleaned it to the nines last year, rejuvenated it, did the exact same thing this year, and created this opportunity.
And what an opportunity it is.
True Ranch did a great job.
Guests stay in the original cabins built in 1912 and dine in the magnificent lodge.
The food was incredible.
The historic property has been augmented with state-of-the-art bathrooms.
The bathrooms were great.
Right behind every beautiful and rustic cabin, where after a good night's sleep, you'll saddle up to ride the same spectacular country that drew those first guests here back in the day. First ride of the week's pretty spectacular, huh?
Yeah, almost every ride's amazing. You go in each direction, and you go headed back towards Monitor Peak. That's like all mountainous and pines, and out here it's just gorgeous view of the Yellowstone.
With the sweet smell of sage in the air, our guides Gabe and Sarah lead us down the trail and up to a ridgetop to an amazing view of aptly named Paradise Valley, bisected by the Yellowstone River.
I think the scenery here is exceptional. Of course, you would expect that given its location, but it's absolutely fantastic.
That's just a taste of what's to come. It's mountain riding, sightseeing from the saddle. Everywhere you look is different, beautiful, and wild. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the OTO today lies within what is known as the Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem, just 9 miles from the gate of the famous national park. This is the wildest area left in the lower 48 states, home to buffalo, wolves, and grizzly bear, which is why you never go anywhere without your trusty bear spray.
Don't spray at a bear until it's within 30 feet of you.
Our first evening at the ranch, Forest Service Ranger Adam Washbeck gives us a class on Bear Spray 101.
If this is in your backpack and you startle one, it does not do any good at all. So having it on your hip is definitely the proper play for working and playing in these areas.
Using practice cans, we learned the spray is about protecting the bears as much as ourselves, encouraging the animals to stay away from people. And by the way, this is not insect repellent.
So you can't take this off and hose your kids off so they don't get so bears don't come up to them. That is a real thing that occasionally happens, just to be clear there. It's not a repellent, it's mace.
No grizz this week, but out on the trail, we do see their cousin, the black bear. While you don't always see animals,
Bones.
oh yeah,
Big bones.
the signs of wildlife are all around us. Off we go.
Off we go.
We've traded our cowboy boots for hiking shoes to explore the OTO neighborhood on foot.
Because this is prime rattlesnake habitat in there.
OTO lies right in the heart of the wilderness, and you do need to watch your step.
So that's how she is.
We don't see snakes, but we do see this fur,
Here, let me pick up this one.
maybe from a grizzly.
And compared it, there's that grizzly hide where you all sit right behind you on that wall. And we think it could be. I mean, we don't know for sure.
Along with grizz, wolves live here, who apparently ate the rest of this elk not very long ago.
That's cool. Gnarly. And the first week I was here, I found a wolf track going up here.
We discover other signs of life, like an eggshell from a newly hatched grouse.
On the trails.
And big scrapes on a grove of aspen,
Teeth marks.
left behind by moose and elk.
Yeah, that's good.
Before we head back, our guide Janae leaves behind a game camera to try to get a picture of whatever else comes by, and later captured this photo of a black bear. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, there's more fun on foot. Target shooting with a .22 rifle.
There you go, and then click it all the way back in.
Safely supervised, of course. Always entertaining to plink away with a lever action Henry, especially for those who've never done it.
I thought it was fun. Once I found the target, it was fun.
Yeah.
Later, there's more shooting with the bow and arrow.
Yes. Nice.
It's all just for fun, of course.
Nice. Okay, who's next?
Fortunately, our dinner doesn't depend on our skill with either weapon. And we are spoiled by the cuisine.
The food's been good.
Buffalo steak, one of the more memorable meals. There's just 14 guests, and we share our dinner's family style around big tables in the historic lodge.
Everything is so good. I think that there's like a special feeling here that comes with how intimate it is and how small it is.
There's also fun around the pool table. Just like guests back in the day,
It's kind of like time travel and brought this old ranch back to kind of the way that it was back in the teens and 20s.
enjoying the same big front porch and the magnificent views that delighted guests 100 years ago.
There's a freshness about it because it hasn't been in business all of these years.
Everything it takes to operate a dude ranch has been hauled here by True Ranch.
All the mattresses we have, all the linens we have, all the firewood we have.
Including the electric fence that protects the kitchen area from grizz.
So anything that's a natural attractant to bears, you have to have the bear fencing up. So we have our entire kitchen outlined by electrical bear fencing.
Another electric fence surrounds the horse pasture.
I mean, we've seen scat here and there, prints, but nothing too alarming. It is something to take serious, but we haven't had to deal with any struggles yet.
Gabe and Sarah round up and drive in the herd every morning. Then brush, bridle, and saddle the horses next to the great old barn the Randalls built more than 100 years ago. The history they left behind is everywhere you look, like the remains of an old hay wagon and the old saddlery that didn't quite survive the passage of time. Today, the saddled horses are driven up from the barn to the lodge, where we mount up on the front lawn, where buffalo wandering out of Yellowstone Park in the winter have sometimes come to feed.
We're headed to some really beautiful meadows up that way today.
We're in the saddle and down the trail. Just 9 miles from Yellowstone.
Beautiful morning.
Riding the OTO is like having your own national park. The OTO offers the opportunity to ride in the park itself with horse track outfitters. We shot these still photographs during what was a very memorable day horseback in America's first national park.
It was a great viewing.
OTO guests can also take a van tour of the park with expert guides from Yellowstone Forever.
I really enjoyed it. Very informative. Lots of animals.
Bison herds, a grizzly bear and a black bear. We even saw mountain goats.
It's a very unique place.
And one night, Yellowstone Forever's Amanda Bush shared even more about the park.
I get to help enhance people's experience in Yellowstone.
In a special presentation in the lodge.
Getting to share a place that I'm very passionate about and help others become very passionate about it too.
Yellowstone is also the name of that wild river, which we're going to ride in the morning. Rafting the Yellowstone. The last major undammed river in the lower 48.
That was awesome.
And a wild ride for guests of the OTO. It's a short trip from the ranch down the mountain to the Flying Pig Outfitters in Gardner, Montana.
When you're in the boat paddling, or even when you're just chilling in the boat, you don't want to smack someone in the head, knock their teeth out.
Where we first get a bit of rafting 101.
All right, let's start going all forward.
Snug in our wetsuits here in late June, we're off.
Take a break.
All right.
We're here a year after the river's historic flood.
After the flood, all those rocks kind of got pushed to the side or further downstream.
No sign of it today. Just a lot of fun whitewater.
It's a great seat up front here. Getting soaked.
Try a seat in the house. Oh, that was classic.
There are some mellow moments too.
So all the land on that left bank there, right in front of us, is all Yellowstone. All the land behind us on the other side, 89, is the Gallatin National Forest.
That's Electric Peak off in the distance.
Is that an eagle?
Closer, an osprey nest.
Big bird. I've seen a bear in the water too.
Oh, there's another one.
And in the river, we spot an otter.
You guys look way too dry.
Another raft full of OTO guests is riding the river.
There you go.
And the water fight is on. By the way, there is a reason they call this outfit the Flying Pig.
The original owner, he told his grandfather that he wanted to do a big kayaking trip from the mouth of the Yellowstone right outside the park all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. His grandfather said, "You'll do that when pigs fly." And so he ended up doing it, and his grandfather was so proud of him that he gave him all the money to start up the Flying Pig Adventure Company.
But today we're doing the flying on a river of melted snow. The 8-mile journey is over all too soon. But never a dull moment on another adventurous, unforgettable day
That was a good one.
for the guests of the OTO.
No, I did. I had it in my ear.
It's a new day at OTO, where the morning begins with fresh hot coffee left on the porch of your historic cabin. And the evening winds down with a guitar around the campfire. In between our days, the Martinez family, here from Hawaii, will never forget.
with the horses and the campfires at night, it's real. It's a real experience. And those are the ones you're going to talk about forever.
Would you do it again, you think?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's all thanks to the vision of Dick and Dora Randall more than a century ago. And today, the U.S. Forest Service and True Ranch.
Is that good stuff?
The Yellowstone Pop-Up Ranch, a historic dude ranch experience full of memories that will last a lifetime.
Whoa!
You can't go to the OTO without a cool cowboy hat. Up next, meet the woman who can make you one at Montana Mad Hatters.
It's truly my family heritage.
Montana Mad Hatters is more than a custom hat shop.
I truly think that this was my destiny.
Here on Main Street in Twin Bridges, Erica Kirkpatrick Eggers walks in the big footsteps of a trail her mother first blazed as a young girl.
Grandpa was a PRCA announcer, so she would go to rodeos with him, and she'd see a guy's hat that she'd like, and she'd go home and get on the tea kettle and shape it and change it all the time. So she's always been good with hats.
Sheila Kirkpatrick was so good with hats, she was inducted into the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame in 1992.
I grew up in the hat shop. My mom had me, and then a couple days later she was back at work. So I, from a baby on, was in here every day.
But after high school, Erica was like the ranch kid that can't wait to leave home until she realized what she left.
Then when I went to college, I was like, kind of wasting my money here. I think I really want to do hats. And now I can't imagine doing anything else.
Today, from start to finish, this meticulous woman does everything herself.
Yeah, and then you put the gold leaf. It's my name on each hat that goes out the door, so yeah, it's nice to have somebody in here, but it's hard to find somebody else that is as passionate about it as I am.
She starts with this unique device to measure your head and its shape.
So I take this and then I cut this out and I make it on a piece of styrofoam.
Mine's a bit odd.
That's the shape of your head.
Which is not unusual.
Not everybody's proportionate, and our eyes aren't level, our ears are off, and our nose is not in the center of our face. None of us are proportionate at all.
The styrofoam pattern becomes the foundation.
Yep, so this is what they come in like.
To turn a raw hat body into a work of art.
Beaver is the most desired product.
Hat bodies are made of rabbit fur, beaver, or both.
Onyx is 100% beaver.
Then the hat gets blocked.
I pick a block based on the closest to the size of the customer, but also what style of hat they're wanting. If they're wanting a real tall Gus, then you'd go like that. Then you'd take your...
Ironed.
So all this is doing is getting a nice tight bond onto this block.
Sanded.
So this is gonna shave all those fibers down and make them real nice and soft.
And singed.
With alcohol to burn the extra hairs off.
Whoa! Cool.
And it just kind of singes those last little hairs off. And it's a lot of feel. I wanted to know a recipe of this is how you do it and this is the product you get. And it doesn't work that way. Each hat behaves differently and it's all feel and it is very much an art.
Everything is done by hand. Cutting the sweatband, stamping it with the owner's name, and sewing it in.
What I do is I actually lace it together.
After ironing the brim, it's time for the grand finale, shaping.
The hat has to fit the person. You have to go by their shape of their face and just kind of make it to where it looks like the hat is part of them. There, that's better. But yeah, this guy just wants a Gus crease. So I did a little taller crown than I would do if I was doing a cattleman's or a buckaroo.
There are lots of details, like adding a pencil roll.
You just keep working it till you get the desired amount of roll that you want.
The tool she uses is antique, as is much fur equipment, fitting for a shop that believes in old school craftsmanship.
Colored hats are coming back.
No matter what new direction hats may take.
We make everything from a Western hat to women's fashion hats is what I like to call them.
In this shop decorated with hats from the past.
A hat is part of a cowboy's gear. I mean, it's just as important as a saddle or their boots or their spurs or any of that.
It's satisfying work.
I had a little gal bring in her grandpa's hat and it had no sweatband. I mean, it was in rough shape. And we rebuilt it and kind of designed something that she would wear and put her grandpa's name in it and her name in it. And She cried when she came and picked it up.
And after growing up in this business, today Erica believes she was intended to be here all along.
I love it when someone walks in and when they walk out of the door, they're just beaming because you made them feel so good about themselves.
Preserving a part of the rich legacy of the American West.
Feel pretty blessed to be here.
Still to come, the 100th birthday of the turbulent frontier love story is California's official outdoor play.
Go to hell, pig farmer.
It's a Western.
That's right, Curly.
A love story.
Yeah, and who might you be, Mr. Fancy Britches?
And a clash of cultures, Mexican, Native, and pioneer. Set in the turbulent days of the American takeover of California.
Starland now, lady.
Following the Mexican War. It is Ramona, California's official outdoor play.
Yep, by proclamation of Sacramento.
Alessandro, what are we to do? We are lost between two worlds. Come away with me. Where?
Celebrating its 100th year of performances at the Ramona Bowl Amphitheater in Hemet, California.
It is the story of California, so it's been incredible to be a part of that and to learn about the history that's in our own backyard.
Ramona is based on Helen Hunt Jackson's celebrated 1884 novel.
She traveled all over California, and she picked up bits and pieces of the show.
You're going to answer for this, Gerard. You too, Curly.
Inspired by real people, real events, and Jackson's outrage over the mistreatment of the American Indian.
She came into this area and she heard a story, a true story.
The popular 19th century author had first chronicled Native American suffering in her 1881 book, A Century of Dishonor.
It was a very powerful book, but nobody wanted to read it.
Your mother was Indian.
So she wrote a novel that's been called something like an Old West Romeo and Juliet.
An Indian?
So she picked up stories from all over California.
To tell the same message.
To show how badly the Native Americans were being treated.
And Ramona was a huge hit.
And it was extremely popular. People came all the way into California trying to find where Ramona and Alessandro lived.
Local business leaders who'd long wanted to stage an outdoor play wanted to capitalize on all that interest in Ramona.
And there was a director from England, his name was Garnet Home, and he was doing these outdoor plays all over California.
Holmes not only wrote the play, but found the perfect location to stage it.
He came here, toured around, walked into this valley and said, this is where you should do the play.
The Ramona Bowl Amphitheater was built specifically for this play. And this beautiful bowl where the amphitheater was built makes it pretty easy for the audience to imagine they're back in 1850, California.
And that's exactly what they feel because it's natural. There's no stage props, there's no curtain. So it's a beautiful venue.
You just feel it, like even when you see it as an audience member and you first come in through that main archway and you walk into the space and it's just absolutely magical.
Ramona debuted at the amphitheater in 1923.
She went to New York and did all sorts of things right after Ramona.
Hollywood actress Ann Archer once starred here as Ramona, as did Raquel Welch, who returned to see the play in 2009. And longtime Hollywood star Victor Jory played Alessandro for years in the 1930s.
Oh my gosh, to be part of 100 years.
Deborah Dawn Shockey starred as Ramona in 2008.
Oh,
one of 4 principal roles she's played over the years since she was first cast in 2006, with some time off to have her children.
Once it gets a hold of you, you may try to escape, but she gets you back.
Native American culture is celebrated during the performance, along with Spanish dancing, traditional music, and the bygone life of a California rancho, all of which is part of the personal heritage of many who perform in the play today.
Like they've always joked that, Kayla, you are Ramona. On my mother's side, it's Spanish, English, and then on my father's side is the Hispanic, indigenous.
A dozen horseback cowboys play a prominent role as well.
How could you have more fun than playing Cowboys and Indians?
You can get away with things here you can never get away with at home.
How dare you speak of truth?
And while Ramona is indeed a play with a message,
I feel like it's really relevant to what is going on even to this day.
with its singing, dancing, and drama,
Good. It was good.
that was great.
Yeah.
It's also very entertaining.
It was nice to come see something my mom had been in when she was younger.
I was a dancer and in the chorus. It was really fun.
It's a lot of fun coming up here on the weekends, you know.
And it's great fun to be part of the production.
Just being out here and doing theater, actors, horses, cowboys, dance.
The fun part of it is all the cowboys and shooting and horses.
Thank you so much for this honor.
Helen Hunt Jackson's descendants were on hand for the play's 100th anniversary, as their famous ancestor became the first woman honored with a California literary landmark, unveiled before the final performance of its 100th season.
Thank you.
And of course, the 100th anniversary is really an amazing accomplishment.
Ramona gets no government funding, running on ticket sales, private donations, and most importantly, the passion of those who love it.
What keeps it going is the volunteers. They just love it because we rehearse on the weekends. So you come up here on a Saturday and Sunday like today and you have fun.
And I so think about how wonderful it would be to be able to go back and to say, Miss Jackson, you wrote this book and you changed the world. You changed hearts and minds, and we're still doing it now because it still needs to be told. And so we'll continue to do it. It needs to be another 100 years.
That's it for now. We're back next time with more cool stuff from today's Wild West. I'm Mark Bedore. We'll see you down the trail. For more information on the people and places featured in today's Wild West, or to order show DVDs and books, visit todayswildwest.com. Funding for today's Wild West provided by the Leggett Foundation, the Chuckwagon Trail Riders Foundation, and Monty Carroll Montgomery.